In 2024, three really shitty things happened to me. So I'm gonna tell you about them. So the first thing that happened was that, so gotta back up a little bit. If you don't know, I was the full-time caregiver for my mom who has dementia. I lived with her and she was officially diagnosed in 2022. And she probably should have been diagnosed at least a year before that, maybe 2 years before that. Anyway, because of that, I have my own business. And because of that, it really kind of was hard, like messed everything up. I couldn't concentrate. I was struggling to do my job, to prospect, to get new business because I'm a freelancer. So it was like really hard to do that. So I got myself into some bad financial stuff. Wasn't good. It was like really bad. And I was really struggling. And so I made a really tough decision and decided to go through a consumer proposal, which I'm in Canada. So in Canada, consumer proposal is one step above bankruptcy. Um, I can't tell you how much it helped, though. Anybody out there right now, if you are struggling financially, just have the conversation with somebody. Just have the conversation. I'm telling you right now, when I went and met with my consumer proposal rep and I told her what was happening and my story with my mom and everything that was going on, she said to me, listen, what's going on with you? Like, that's life. This is just money. It's just money. And the way she made me feel felt so amazing. Um, and so, yeah, if you're going through anything like this, if you are really struggling, just go talk to somebody. It's only a conversation. Like, just go talk to somebody who can help you, a credit person. Um, there's lots of them. Just search it out. Go and talk to somebody, have the conversation, and see what your options are so you can understand. It doesn't mean you have to make that choice straight away. It means that you are being informed and understand what's happening. And once you fully understand what those things mean, and I'm happy to, if you're interested, I'm happy to do a video on what the differences are between a consumer proposal and a bankruptcy. Maybe I just will. Um, I'm happy to do that. Anyway, so that happened, and it was one of the hardest things because you feel like you're a failure, right? Like you feel like doing this means that I officially totally failed. I'm a horrible person. I don't have my shit together. I'm a grown adult and I can't manage life. That's how it felt. Um, when the reality is now that that is taken care of, well, there's repercussions for it. Like I said, there's differences, but um, the weight off my shoulder and to be able to focus and not have this horrible thing just sitting there, best thing I ever did. Best thing I ever did. And probably 2024 in that way was like, well, that was really hard. It was a really hard decision. So this is about really hard decisions. It was a really hard decision to make. Um, Once made was a really great decision. And I definitely would definitely recommend it to anybody. And because that weight was gone, I was able to focus on my business again, manage it in a better way just because there was sort of this one huge thing gone. I already had some other things like my mom, right? Okay, still there, but like at least half of this huge weight that I was carrying was gone. So that was helpful. And honestly, the last half of 2024, and I'll tell you more about why, but the last half of 2024 was actually a pretty good year for me with my business. So then, um, in July of 2024, um, we moved my mom into an assisted living facility in a retirement home. So I'm in Ontario, and our long-term care, we have something called long-term care. I don't know where you are. If you're in America, you probably have something like this, but we have different healthcare. So in Ontario, we have something called long-term care. And in long-term care, it is for people who can no longer live at home and need additional help and all the things. And the way that our long-term care system is set up is that Ontario subsidizes, there you go, um, so that the cost is the same across the board. So it doesn't matter where you are in Ontario. If you are getting uh, a, a private room, it's going to cost you just under $3,000 no matter what. That's the price. So it doesn't matter if you're in Niagara Falls, it doesn't matter if you're in Toronto, it doesn't matter if you're in Ottawa, it doesn't matter if you're in Thunder Bay, it doesn't matter if you're, right? Like, it doesn't matter. That is the cost of a long-term private room. The base room is the same, a shared room. Like, once the price is set, it's like that for all of Ontario. So, and it's like because the government is running it, there are like a lot of rules and regulations around it, right? So now, because there is not enough of them and our aging population is so much, it is really hard to get into long-term care. Super hard. So basically, in order to get into long-term care, you have to be on the crisis list. So or like in the hospital and nobody can take care of you, right? Like the only option is long-term care. That puts you on crisis. And even at that point, you may be stuck in the hospital for like 2, 3 months because there just isn't a room. There just is no space. So it sucks. It's pretty brutal. Like there are long-term care homes that have like a waiting list of like 400 people, like 400 people. Just, it's wild. Anyway, so we have been on the path of that. We decided that was something we wanted to do, so we got mom on the list. However, from now until then, because it could take years, it could be some people, it takes like 6 years for them to get into long-term care. It's m completely insane. So, knowing that and knowing what was happening with my mom and why we decided to make the decision to move her into a retirement home, which is very expensive. It ain't cheap, and she's in assisted living. They do have a memory care unit, but we've thought about it, but anyway, that's a whole other discussion. We're not prepared to move her. So what was happening at home was a number of things. She was falling more. She had a really bad fall one night where it was about, I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I heard this bang and I went running into her room and I couldn't see her. I turned the light, I was like, turn the light on. I was like, Mom, like where I could hear her, but I was like, where are you? She had somehow gotten out of her bed and went, lost her footing because we did have a video camera in her room, lost her footing. And she kind of like just tumbled for a while all the way around her bed and slammed into the wall. She lost faculty out of her bladder. She couldn't get up. I could not get her up. It's like she didn't know how her limbs worked. She didn't know how to get up. So, um, I called my sister and said, "This is what's happened. I can't get her up. Like I can't. Like I physically can't. I'm not strong enough. She's dead weight. Listen, it's crazy. And the amount of times that I've seen bad things happen to my mom, I can't even tell you. Anyway, um, she was, so anyway, I had to call the ambulance because I was like, I gotta go. I gotta call the ambulance. I can't get her up. And I'm freaking out. She could have a broken hip. She could have, I don't want to get her up because I don't know what's going on right now. So called the ambulance. She did end up getting up herself. Thank God. Didn't seem to be super injured, but and we didn't go to the hospital. They were lovely. And I just was like, if we don't have to go to the hospital, because I know how traumatizing this it can be for somebody who has dementia, like let's not do that, right? Like if tomorrow I'm concerned, I'll take her to the hospital. Like, but I was like, it's so traumatizing. Um, so, and there's not much they could do, which is also a hard thing to say, but it's not like anything could happen. Like if nothing's broken and she's fine, even if she hit her head, like there's nothing they could do. It's so the way my mom's dementia is, and a lot of people's is that it's kind of like having a crack in your window. And every time you go over a bump, the crack cracks a bit more. That's kind of what it's like for her. So every time she falls, it's like we could see a change in her. And there's nothing that can be done about that. Like nothing at all. So, the good news is that she didn't seem to have hit her head. There was no bumps. There was nothing really on her head. It seemed more like butt, arm, that kind of stuff, but she was okay. If she had hit her head badly, which we have done because that's not the first or last fall, we have been to the hospital twice because she did hit her head and we were concerned, maybe concussion, things like that. So if it is a fall where she's actually clearly hit her head, we definitely want to make sure that, they do a CT scan or, and have somebody really check her out. So anyway, so she did seem okay. And so I was like, if she hasn't hit her head and it's not like, and she clearly hasn't broken anything, I think we're good. Um, so that happened. The other thing that started happening was, even just a bit before that, she still would sometimes take out Buffy, my dog. Um, and she had gotten lost just in a place where she's walked the dog forever. I mean, she's lived here for 20 something years. She didn't know which house was ours. She walked right into my neighbor's home, walked right in, like with the dog. And they have a dog. Like, just hi. Um, that happened. She also um started like struggling going up the stairs, like she was losing strength in her legs. So I would be behind her holding onto the banister, like, okay, I think we're going to go down. Okay. So I'm preparing myself to catch her because apparently I'm a superhero. So I'm like, okay, at least hopefully we both don't die, but we might go down here. Um, so luckily that didn't happen. But that started getting really concerning because she couldn't go up the stairs. She couldn't take Buffy out anymore. Um, she couldn't understand really TV anymore. She didn't understand how a remote control works, even though we bought her a special remote control that only had like 5 buttons, but like even that was hard with clearly orange is this, blue is like they were colored buttons. So you could be like, press the green button, press the blue button, right? Um, she couldn't follow recipe. I mean, cooking. She hasn't been able to do that for a long time. Um, so the safety though was where I was like, this is a problem. And not just that, because of what had happened with my business and my financial situation, that also was another problem. I was like, yes, I got myself I'm in a consumer proposal, and that's great that I've sort of got this, I've alleviated some of that. I can't keep going like this because I'm still never going to get myself back on my feet either if I can't run my business and I can't get a job because that means I'm not home, right? Like, so there's all this stuff. So that's when we were like, I think maybe long-term care is where we have to go. It would be different if I wasn't a single person. If I had like like if I had a family with kids, if I had a wife, husband, whatever, a person, then it's like a little easier to balance that, right? Because you can be like, okay, I'm gonna go grocery shopping. You watch the lady. Okay, you take care of that while I go. Or I'm gonna work, or I'm gonna get a part-time job, or like whatever, right? Like there's just a lot more options when you have another person. When you're one person and you have no one you can lean on. I mean, leaning on my sister is one thing, but I mean living in the home. Which my sister and I did talk about, like, should we all move into a house together? And, you know, the problem is that she had just bought a house. It's a, like, it's got three levels, like the basement, but it's a walkout. But, like, then where does mom live? Like, on the main floor? Like, it's a lot. So we were like, okay, let's move her into this facility. And I would say this. If at any point you were a caregiver and you were thinking about should I, shouldn't I, should we move her or should or he or whoever it is, I'm not sure I can take care of this person anymore, whatever it may be, it's time. If you're thinking about it, it's time. Probably past time. Because we always think, what's our line? The line for me, I said, the moment I have to start wiping my mother's butt, I'm done. It's come, that's it. That's my line. But then that happens once and you do it, and then it happens again and you do it. And now you're doing it all the time. And now you're showering them. And now, because we are very, we don't want to admit failure as humans. We want to help. We love this person. And at the same time, we are super um moldable. That's not the word. I can't think of what the word is right now. It starts with a C. We're super um like we get used to things happening, and that's fine, right? Like we just get used to it. So that was happening for a few months. It wasn't like just a week. It was like a number of months. This is now what is happening often. I walked into her bathroom one time and it felt like a movie where the music would be like, because I was like looking at the tap, there's poop. Looking at the toilet, there's poop. Looking at the floor, there's poop. There's feet, her feet have poop. Like I was just like, whoa, what happened? Um, and now I'm cleaning up poop off everything. It was, uh, and it's like the saddest thing to see someone you love go through this. It's brutal. Anyway, so we moved her into assisted living. All that to say, we moved her into assisted living, which was such a hard decision for both of us, my sister and I for sure, who was also single, by the way. So I don't know why I said that, just so you know, like it's not like she has a whole family that she could, do anything with. I just want everybody to know, like she also is alone. And so um anyway, it was very hard for both of us. I would say it was harder for me only because I felt like I was a total failure. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like, again, same thing with doing the consumer proposal. It feels like you're a failure. I totally messed up. And here again, I'm like, I can't handle this. So here we go. Making this horrible decision. And it was brutal. And brutal for Pam. Like it was brutal. It was the hardest thing we've ever done. Um, and the first 2 months were, God, they were so hard. Oh, God. I can't even tell you how incredibly hard that was. It was like we were there 7 days a week for hours. Like, because it's just so hard. Like, it's just so hard. And we did talk to her about it before because the way that this place worked was that they actually needed her to agree to move in, even though she has dementia. They needed her to say, like, yeah, I'm going to move in here. So we went and we saw the room and we talked to them and all the things. And she did agree to move in. She understood at that time that it was unsafe for her to be at home. And she did she understand? Like she understood. Yeah, she understood. She understood that it was unsafe for her, and she also understood that for Pam and I, this was really hard. And what was happening too was that my sister and I were no longer hanging out. My sister, my mom, and I were barely together because I was so exhausted from being a caregiver that what we started doing in 2024 was that Pam would, we'd switch houses. So Pam would come here and I would go to Pam's house to give me a break so that I got some breathing room. Um, and then, so then you feel like you're living out of a suitcase. Like you're never settled. Um, and we were doing that for months. And so both of us were like, we're tired. So now, because you're also going to a place that it's not your home, it's not your bed, it's not your stuff, and you gotta like get used to it. And like Buffy has to, because I would take Buffy with me, and Buffy's all out of sorts now because like, why are we here again? What's happening? This is like, it was just a lot. Pam has a dog, so she would bring Dexter, and same thing. Dexter gets all like, oh my gosh, now he's having bathroom problems. Like, it's just, it's a lot to be doing that. So that was also another thing. We were like, this isn't okay. And like, what was great for us before was when the three of us were together. Like, there was nothing better than the three of us when we were together. We would have so much fun together. And so we weren't doing that anymore. And that sucked. So we're like, if we move her into this place that gives us some space and some breathing room, and then we can hang out again. Well, that hasn't happened still. It happens like once in a while, but not that often. Um, which I don't think I'm going to get into all that. I'll get into all of that and sort of explaining the type of dementia she has and the process and all the things and the doctors and all how all that goes down on the Dementia channel. I'm talking a lot right now. It just is what it is. Look, I'm just talking. If you aren't interested, you can leave. That's also fine, right? Whatever. Um, so so now so that was just like mid-July. I think it was July 24th that we moved her in. And so July, August, September. So by the end of September, we found we had started to, I would say the middle of September, things started to get a little more balanced. She was getting a little more comfortable. The staff, it took a really long time for them to understand her, but again, whole other discussion. Point is, that's the second hardest decision I made in 2024. The third hardest decision I made in 2024. Sorry, today has just been a day, and I don't even know why I did this video today because, anyway, the third one was that in October. So for about 9 months before October, Buffy wasn't doing great. Her kidneys were failing. And so I had found some ways to make it work, which two of those ways were waking up. So this is a whole other thing that was also happening. So from February in 2024, that's when it really started getting bad. So I would wake up, she would wake me up at about 2 o'clock in the morning. She had to go to the bathroom. So I would take her out, I would feed her. Because what I was noticing was that because what happens with kidneys with this particular what's going on with her is that if she's not holding the protein, the kidneys are it's like the protein's just seeping out. So she's not holding any protein. And so in order to make her feel better, I was feeding her more often, which helped sort of alleviate some of that just because it was like she was getting these sort of I don't even know. I don't even know why it worked, why it was helpful, but it was. So I was feeding her, I started feeding her, I think 5 or 6 times a day in a 24-hour period, not a day, like in a 24-hour period. So that means I was getting up around 2 o'clock in the morning, then she'd wake me up around 5 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock it would be again. So it was like taking her out and not just letting her in the backyard because she wouldn't go in the backyard. That's not Buffy's. Buffy's like, I don't poop back there. So, so I would have to like go outside. We're outside. It's freezing cold. I'm in Canada, right? So, it was hard. It was hard, but it was also kind of beautiful in a way because a lot of the nights we were really lucky. Like, God, so many nights. I can't even tell you. I saw I don't even know what you call them, but the Northern Lights one night. It was beautiful. It was amazing to see it. Um, the moon, such a such a beautiful thing, and it was so quiet. When we were out there at like 2 o'clock in the morning, even at 5 o'clock in the morning. Um, anyway, so that was happening, and it was not good. It was bad, but I was also like, this is working, and she seems okay, and it's fine. And she was walking a lot slower, especially started really in the summer. She was starting to walk slower. And then in September, she really, uh, she wouldn't really get out of her bed unless she was going for a walk or getting food. So she would get up, go eat, and then just go right back to bed. And she was also, her eyesight was bad. She couldn't go up the stairs as much. Well, not as much. She really struggled. Like going up the stairs was like, again, slow. It was very slow. Where Buffy is a Boston Terrier and she's always had tons of energy and she used to be able to jump, standing right in front of you, jump to your face. Um, she was 15. So, I mean, it's like we know it's coming, right? You know it's coming. You know it's going to happen. But you don't, you're never prepared when it happens. Um, so on Thanksgiving Day in October, we have in Canada, it's in October. I took her to the vet because she really had a really tough, um, it was a really tough day. Um, so I took her to the vet and they were basically like, she's like, and I was like, and they were like, we can do it now. And I was like, no. And so I said, let's do it on Thursday. So it was Monday, because I just wanted to be with her for a bit longer. So that happened. And and I miss her every day. I miss hearing her little footsteps throughout the house. Um, so yeah, 2024 sucked. Um, this is a necklace that I got. I don't know if you can see, but on the back, there's like a little circle that is a little screw because when you open it up, you can put something inside. So not to be morbid, but there's a little bit of Buffy in my moon because the moon was with us a lot in that last year. And so it made sense. So she's always here. Um, anyway, I don't really know what the point of this video is other than just to tell you the 2024 was a really shitty year. Having said that, I will say the last half of 2024 for my business was really, really very good. One of the best second half of a year that I've ever had. So it was really good. I think because I had some weight lifted off of me from the financial issue and some space because of moving my mom into the facility. And just perspective, just perspective. When you are my age, I'm in my late 40s. When you're my age and you you watch something like this happen to someone you love, you start thinking about like life, like mortality. How much longer do you have, right? Like, so my mom retired it when she retired when she was 75. She is 80, and the person she was at 75, she's unrecognizable today in terms of personality. Physically, you know that she's the same person. But in terms like visually, I mean, like she looks like her and stuff like that. But this is not the same woman at all. So you start thinking about that. And I think that changes how you look at so many things when you're going through something like this. It didn't just happen in 2024. I've been thinking about it for a few years as we've been going through this process. Um, and it just makes you think about a lot of different things, who you want to be, who, what kind of life you want to live, how much time you have left to do the things you want to do, how you want to impact the world, um, what really matters, who you're going to love, who you're going to let love you. All of these things are coming into your mind. Like, I'm like, if I, like I always say, so at this point, I have 20 good years left, good years, because you don't know. Like once I'm hitting 70, maybe I have 25. But like once you're sort of in your 70s, like I don't know what that's going to look like. And sure, could I be extra super healthy and be healthy until I'm 90? Yeah, that's facts. That's true. That's possible. But it's also maybe not possible. So if I say to myself, okay, I definitely have a 20 to 25 years left of good being able to go on a trip and walk for, walk the whole wall of China. Um, like thinking about it in that way, like what can what am I going to be able to do? And, that kind of stuff. I just think it's so important to start thinking about, I wish I had thought about it younger. I wish I had thought about this. I wish I understood the repercussions of not being thoughtful about the future meant, because I never have been. I've been a very like, I'm gonna do this thing and I just when and then I go along and I do the thing and I'm on this path and I'm like, okay, this is fine. And then I'm like, I'm gonna do this thing and like no thought about the repercussions that could have for the next 5, 10, 15 years. Um, I am so jealous of people that can do that. Even though I know that I need to do it, I'm still trying to figure it out. I feel like I'm more mature and grown up about it now, maybe. I don't know. Um, but anyway, that's it. I think that's the video. Oh yeah, the Dementia channel, I will tell you. I can't remember. I'm just gonna look over here. My other computer screen is over here, which is where I have all that stuff listed. We are calling it. So it's at caregiving life. Caregiving life. All one word at caregiving life. Um, I don't even know if we have anything over there right now. Sorry, it gave me a weird thing there. Um, I think my sister had put something on here. Let me see. Yeah, my sister's got a couple of videos on there, so you can go and check those out. I do have a video that I'm planning to put up that is going to be more, far more detailed about sort of my mom and the journey. So, and other videos will go up there regarding dementia and stuff like that. So that's it. I am getting back into fitness. I don't know if that means I'm going to put some videos on here or not. We'll see how it goes. I'm just kind of going to do whatever the hell I want on this channel. So you like it or you don't. I'm not going to worry about it. Um, talk to you later.